Episode 3 of the CrownCast. And look, I don't want to, get biased or have anybody angry with me, but this is the first time we've had an All-Pro on the CrownCast. So this is next level for us. It's Chris, it's Dan above me, and the guy you really want to hear from is George Odum, the All-Pro safety and special teamer from the San Francisco 49ers. George, how are you, man?
I'm doing good out here in Florida. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Chris. Thank you, Dan the man. I'm excited to answer some of the questions y'all been asking for. Well,
you're in better weather than we're in, and that's how you live your life mostly, because you're in California and now you're in Florida. So you're certainly in better weather than what we're dealing with in upstate New York. Let me ask you a question, just strictly as an athlete, and I'm not looking to pick at any scabs here, but will you actually watch the Super Bowl, having gotten as close as you guys did?
Will I watch it? Of course. Yeah, of course. I'm not going for any team, but I'm going to watch it for sure.
Okay. I've heard of athletes who are like, I can't even, if I'm not there, I don't want to deal with it. But why do you say like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely going to watch it? You're obviously a football fan, but why do you want to make sure you watch it?
Well, I don't see who messing up. Like, see who blowing coverages, see who getting open, see who mossing on each other. Like, it's football at the end of the day. I'm trying to watch athletes go hit them, go truck somebody. So just watching the game, the whole aspect of it.
DJ?
I also know some people that play. I know people play for Philly. So I'm not saying I'm going with Philly or nothing, but I know a few players that I'm hoping they're gonna make it. Hope get that ring.
Dan, I'm going to do a couple more Super Bowl things here, and then we can really do the deep dive on who George is and why this partnership with Novus is so perfect and how it so serendipitously came together. The backstory is unbelievable. Is Sunday a cheat day for you? What's on the Super Bowl menu?
I'm not sure. Super Bowl menu. We definitely grilling. For sure, some type of beef. Probably some hot dogs. I'm not sure yet. I think we're gonna go somewhere, but I'm definitely trying to have some type of hot dog and hamburger for sure.
All right, so you don't have to be super strict with the diet on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm not strict at all with my diet. As long as I eat more than I gotta eat.
Man, I wish I had that problem. All right, help us out here as a defensive guy. How do you game plan for these two quarterbacks?
For Patrick Mahomes, you got to play man coverage. Man coverage with somebody spying him. You don't want him to get out of the pocket like that. And then Jalen Hurts, keep him contained, make him play quarterback. That's the only way you're going to beat him. Don't let him get out of the pocket because they're going to have the big plays. You just eliminate the big plays, you eliminate them.
All right,
but it's hard to. It's hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's said and done, but it's hard to.
Either one of these guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave it up to you guys here. Take me through this incredible story, Dan and George, of how you guys came together, how working with Nick and Garrett and Scott and Novus just was the absolute perfect fit.
Yeah, so Chris, it was interesting. I was actually on vacation in Cancun, and one of George's friends was in the pool. He had a crown tattoo, and it actually was said James 112. It caught my eye. So I started to talk to his friend Tade, and lo and behold, he's friends with George. He said he played college football as well. He goes, yeah, my boy George, he's on the Niners. So long story short, we started to talk a little bit about what we do with pro athletes and building brands and who we're looking for in terms of a high character guy. And when I heard about his story from his friend, and then got on a Google call with George later that night, and he shared a little bit about who he was, and he was actually at the gym, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and he was getting after it and putting in that work, and I could tell, right from the rip that this guy was the real deal. He really wanted to do the best he could for the Niners this season. And then learning more about who he was as a person, his character, his work ethic, his faith, it just really felt like a really good fit. So when I came home from that trip, I shared with Garrett and Nick and Scott, and I said, I met this guy, Tade, and I met, his friend George, who plays on the Niners. And I was like, you won't believe this, but first of all, the common connector was this crown tattoo, and it had the same Bible verse that we are founded on. James 1:12 was crazy. So we hopped on a call with George. The business owners met him. He was able to share part of his story, and I'll kind of leave it up to George to kind of fill in the gaps there. But from my perspective, I was like, man, I knew this guy was going to be the real deal from the beginning, and he's been everything and then some, and we couldn't ask for a better guy to represent our company.
So, George, you're not just an NFL player. Like you said, we're dealing with a two-time All-Pro here. So you could certainly look for other partnerships beyond other people just approaching you. When you find out about all these common threads and elements, the crown and James 1:12, did you know immediately, like, okay, obviously these guys need to put out a good product and I want the logo looking the way I want the logo, but did it just make sense for you immediately that Novus was the brand?
Well, I'm gonna think about before Novus. So I was actually just now getting to the 49ers. I was like, damn, I'm trying to find a logo. I'm trying to figure out, like, who can I be here, And one of my good friends, Tade, like I said, had called me, and I was like, all right, he got this guy on the phone. Let me see how it is. And then they started sending me stuff online, like as far as like logo looks and stuff like that. And I kind of like based my stuff like this year, like what they're saying, like faith, football, and family kind of. It's a weird thing. And so I was like, I got the brand. I started posting all the other stuff, and I just started playing like that too this year. Also, like just playing more faster, like cause I like the logo, like what I'm saying, it's an arrow, just one direction. I'm gonna bring it back to this the kind of quote we kind of did this year. It's Matthew 17:20-21. The faith of the mustard seed, basically like having faith in. I'm not gonna read the quote out exactly, but it's having faith in the mustard. Just if you have a little faith, you're not gonna go far. It's like taking the first step. But if you can just say, if I can move this mustard seed from here to there, like I can move a mountain from there to there. It's just having that first step. I feel like the quote means to me is just having the faith to take that first step, and that's what I did with Dan and everybody else in the company, like just taking the first step of moving forward with them. And so that's where we are today.
Yeah, and Chris, I flew out there, and when I met with George, he talks about faith, family, and football, and he was with his family. So I got the privilege of meeting his now fiance and his son, and I could tell, like, this guy's spending time with his family. He really cares about everything going on in his life, and he's a high-level achiever. And having that initial meeting one-on-one with him for like an hour and 45 minutes, and he was super invested, wanted to learn more about us and we about him. It just seemed like a really good fit, and that he could be the guy to really take us to the next level too, and being that athlete. And we saw what he did on the field this season.
All right. So is there a date set for the wedding?
Nah, not yet. We just got done with the season. We got to watch Super Bowl, then we're going to sit down and think about it.
I like that. All right. By the way, if you walk into the Novus headquarters, this is immediately what you see, the banner with you, obviously rocking the lounger, and the logo made by our guy Ben here in-house, that G.O 30. It's pretty awesome, man. So everybody who comes through here, George, sees you immediately, and that other guy Butker who's playing on Sunday. But yeah, you're prominently displayed, man.
Oh yeah, Dan always be sending me the pictures and stuff. I like it.
All right, Dan, you said how great of a year George had. He led everybody in special teams tackles 21. George, I saw you tweet, and I love this. Special teams leader in tackles. Let's see who makes first team. Now you're still an All-Pro, but I'm just curious.
Yeah,
being second team, does that give you a little bit of a chip going into next year?
First of all, I'm thinking defense first. Defensive player first.
Okay.
Because if you can't play defense, you're not gonna play in the league that long.
Yep.
But no, so looking back at the season, like I'm gonna bring you back to a memory I thought. So I seen them the Commanders. I feel like this is the only reason why I didn't make the first team. So I seen the NFL, the Commanders, like they got all these followers on Instagram and all this power. They're powerful, right?
Yep.
NFL got 22 million followers, something like that. I only got 35,000. So when they posted a story about the dude from the Commanders that he got first team, it like kind of swept everybody's mind. Oh, this guy right here is eating and doing all that stuff. And at the time, he had 2 more tackles than me. I had like 16. He had 16. I had like 14. And so we were playing them. We were finna play the Commanders, and I was like, okay, like this guy got a lot more tackles than me. Like then I put on the NFL comment, LOL. I was like, they got me messed up. And so that game I went out and had 4 tackles on special teams. I jumped in front of him, 2 right there. And then he didn't have none that game.
Yeah.
Well, he ended up starting on defense. That's one of the reasons too. But he almost had one on punt. I got in too late. But then start moving forward from then. Like I seen like the players in the room just started looking up to me and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I gotta like really lead these guys. Like I'm gonna show them like how it is. Like I'm gonna show it how to make it. And then from there, I just started like my training regiments was strictly on point. Like what I do, finish for Fridays. Like I end the week perfect. And if I do in the week perfect, then I'm gonna have a perfect game. That's how I was going from there.
Well, Field Yates blew up your spot on Twitter, telling everybody how much money you were making by being named an All-Pro, and then how much you'll get on top of your base salary next year. I'll just say this: the wedding will be really, really nice.
Hey, the ring nice. The wedding gotta be nice too.
I love that, man. Speaking of how good your defense is, the quarterbacks get paid all the money. They get all the publicity. You guys got to the NFC Championship game with the 3rd stringer and the last pick in the draft, and as well as Brock Purdy played. I'm just curious, did your defense prove this year that quarterback is the most overrated position in football?
Well, it's kind of like it's like a stake in the heart this past season because of quarterback situation at the very end. But throughout the whole season, like the defense, if you watch from the first beginning of the game, people feel like they can handle us and something like that. It's a crazier thing looking back at it. But our defense is so ruthless out there. They are tearing people like limb to limb. It's like if you go in the pencil unit following the thing with lines, like people can't handle that. So at the end of the game, people are like they're like catching the ball and trying to turn and dropping the ball because they're not focused on catching, just like making a move because they're getting hit. It's like you can't take the hitting all day. That's why our defense was so dominant this year. Like there was monsters out there.
And
Bosa,
you're a pro because you
Greenlaw, all the safeties, Huff, Gip, all of them. They're tearing your heads off.
You're a pro, dude, because you handled that loaded question with ease. Dan, man, help us learn some more here about George. You know, obviously, so much about his background and why he's the perfect athlete for Novus.
Yeah, I mean, I had the privilege of going down to the Charlotte game in North Carolina to see him play. And George always takes time for those people who come out. And he had a bunch of family there, and he was making a point to make sure he spent a lot of time with them and taking care of everybody. And he said, what's up to our team on a video as well. And just really caring so much about, working with us. And it really means a lot to us as well, as just like his care and attention to detail and everything that he does on the field, off the field, true professional, somebody that is going to continue to rise up the ranks. And his story overall is just like one of perseverance, from his time in high school to then going and playing Central Arkansas and then going on and, making the team with the Colts and then rising up the ranks that way. And I think it just really embodies what we as a company want to stand for. He's been claiming his crown all the way along, and it's just been a pleasure to continue to see him develop and to rise. And it's going to be fun to journey with him throughout his career. I know there's big things to come, even bigger ones to come next season and beyond for George, because he's putting in the work, and it certainly shows. We're just really grateful to be part of that.
I mean, listen, George, you're only 29, but I wonder, when you look in the mirror at times, do you think to yourself, how did this happen out of Millington, Tennessee?
No, I don't think like that. I just feel like where can I go now? Like where can I actually like level up a little bit my game or something like that, or just like in life, just being grateful and thankful. That's my whole thing. Football, I'm always thinking about how can I get better. In life, I'm thinking like I'm grateful, like I can help somebody else, like take the time out and just like, cause most people don't take the time out and actually like overcoach like people or something like that. I kind of like take the time and be with people, like see how they are and see how they react and just show them a good time.
Dan, give me the insight here. How did this guy get to where he is, knowing what you know about him?
Well, yeah. So when I was out there in California, he was all business, wanted to really understand more about Novice. Like I said, we met for an hour and 45 minutes asking great questions. He was super prepared for the meeting. But then after the fact, he said, like, show people a good time, really invest in who they are too. He invited me to, learn a little bit more about himself, his family, got to hang out with him, enjoy a couple drinks by the pool. But it was really that relationship builder. And George, he likes having a good time. He likes making people feel good. Everybody that I've talked to, Tade, his other friends, they really understand who he is as a person because, like you said, like he wants to invest in other people. And he shared with me his mantra, any means necessary.
Love that.
And I want him to talk a little bit about that. But what I've gotten from that is seeing him do it on the field, but off the field too, because it is by any means necessary. He wants to continue to build up, the people around him, those that he's working with, his teammates, and then obviously the community too. And he shared some, really important things with me from the get-go about where he's hoping to take some of this stuff with, giving back to his community where he lives. And it's been pretty special.
George, when did you start living by that? Any means necessary. When did that phrase become part of your daily?
Kind of like, I would say I've been living by it, but not saying the exact quote.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like looking at Black history a little bit, thinking about Malcolm X, like all the things he done. Kind of like went by that same motto, but like when I was a kid, I kind of went by a different motto. Like watching, all in college I watched Naruto. It took a long time to watch all the episodes, like 1,000+ episodes. So like his motto was like, he'll never back down, he'll never give up on a lot of things. And that kind of like, I would call it the animal in college. Now I'm called All-Pro G.O in the NFL. So it's like different parts of my life, I kind of grew up like having that same mentality of like, all right, like I can't complain about like what's next. Like I gotta get this stuff done. It's gonna have to get done by any means necessary. Like it's gonna have to get done. So I'm gonna complain about it. It's always your mind telling you these things like, oh man, it's so bad. It's so worse. But I seen worse. It could be worse. Like my face could be like I had the accident on Thursday trying to go to the mall before the game on the NFC, the championship game. And like I didn't think about it like that. I thought about it like, all right, shoot, I just don't want my face to be messed up too bad. But I'm gonna play. Like I don't care. I'm gonna play. My team need me. Like I'm a leader on special teams. Like I'm gonna play. Like I had to get my neck worked on, all the type of stuff. Like had to really build up my shoulders just throughout that week, just like a process. And so, hey.
Yeah, Chris, George told me something on a call probably 5 weeks into the season before the Carolina game. And we were discussing some things, and he was sharing, that they were getting ready to really turn it up on the season at that point. And he said to me, it's going to be like stacking wood in the wintertime, stacking the W's. And from that minute on, like I knew that he was going to bring it, and he did. And I saw him on the field in that game, and I saw him, the camaraderie he was building on the sidelines with his teammates, and then getting in the huddle and getting people amped up. And when I look at the season, I see that as a pivotal turnaround point, because then the Niners went on to win, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row. And it was really an interesting thing to reflect on. But again, George, he says any means necessary. He's living by that, and he's instilling that in the people who are around.
Yep. I love that. All-Pro G.O. I've got initials CO.
How fast? I got a question for y'all.
Yeah.
How fast do you think I ran this year as far as miles per hour?
Ooh. Boy, I wish I came
What's
up
the
with
top
that question.
speed you think I reached this year?
Top speed, I would put it at 23.4.
Oh, no, that's too high. I don't even know if any player on this earth running 23. They running 22.5, but 23.
You might be the first, George. You might be the first.
I was going to go with 21.
Hey, watch my kickoff. It looked like I'm the first person to ever run that fast.
What is Tyreek running in? What's Tyreek's top speed?
I think he hit like 22.39 or something like that 1 year. I know somebody hit like 22 something. I got to look it up, but
okay, so
my top speed is 21.5.
Wow. They pull you over in a school zone for that.
Oh, man.
That's 21.5. Holy. Unbelievable. Listen, man, this has been fun for me personally, just as a fan. Dan knows you certainly really well, and you're doing big things on the field, but you're helping out this novice brand incredibly as well, George. Thanks for all the time, man. You're in your off season. Dan, you want to ask him about the training, the off season compared to in the season?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I think a lot of people out there who are listening would like to know. So what is it looking like a typical day for you as you're preparing for next year? It's off season, it's a little bit different, but take us through that a little bit.
Okay. All right. I could just take you like I could give you a flashback of last year, kind of like how I've done my whole scheduling type of ordeal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Typically during the summer, like I hoop like basketball for like an hour and a half. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturdays. I normally try to get a lift in the same days. This was last summer, so I was trying to get a lift in the same days. Then I kind of met the dude named Alvin. We were going 4 days out the week, at least lifting 4 days out the week. Hooping, I was slowing down hooping because I wanted to gain weight, so I brought that down to like 2 days throughout the week. And then just eating. During the summer, I was just eating whatever, just eating as much as I can. Not really like. I had little meal plans for like about a month before camp, but right when I got kind of in season during OTAs and stuff like that, OTA started back, kind of eating like rice and salmon, eating omelets in the morning, and at night I kind of start eating whatever, like during OTAs, and then. Once the season started, I kind of went to like a stricter diet. I was trying to mass eat because I was eating Chick-fil-A in the morning. I started out the season eating Chick-fil-A in the morning, like 2 biscuits. It was a bacon, egg, cheese, and with what is the yogurt with the trail mix in it?
So a little parfait, yogurt.
Yep.
Fruit,
yogurt parfait. I had yogurt parfait. I ate that at 8 o'clock every morning. By 9, I had to use the bathroom. Then I'm lifting on Monday. Mondays, we lifted on Mondays, Wednesdays. You can lift on Tuesdays, but Tuesdays are off days, so I really didn't lift. I did other stuff around the house. Wednesdays I lift. Thursday my long day in practice, and then Friday, finish Friday, I'm buffing up all this. It's getting real big, strong. Kind of went through my eating schedule. So right after we lift in the morning, that's like at 9. Around 10, we got another meeting, and then I try to eat during that lunch hour. I try to eat really rice, broccoli, like a big scoop of rice, like at least 2 cups, broccoli, and at least like this size salmon. If I don't eat salmon, I'm eating chicken.
Yep.
I didn't eat no beef, no pork. I eat bison. And then during dinner, my fiance, she'll cook the special thing, chicken, rice, broccoli. Same thing, but it tastes way better when she cooks it. But I eat 2 of those, 2 meal plans of those before I go to bed, and I also try to get something else in. So I ought to get like like a bowl of cereal in. And that's why I gained. I was 194 when I started the season. I was 202 when I ended the season. So I gained 8 pounds throughout the season. That's just a constant meal. I hated it, but boom, boom, boom. But then every once in a while, like on day before the game, Saturdays, I ordered a large pizza, big hand, original pan pizza from Pizza Hut. Need that. I'm talking about eat like at least half of the pizza. And the other half, and whoever around me gonna get a slice or two. So I ain't greedy.
You,
but I gotta eat mine.
I have family in Halls, Tennessee, so not too far from where you're from. So I know you're close to Memphis. Are you dry rub or wet ribs?
Wet. No dry rub. No, sir. It's like having a plain chicken sandwich, no condiments. It's good, but it could be great.
There you go. I like that.
You can put the dry rub on and slap that barbecue sauce on there. For sure.
DJ, anything else for our guy?
Nah, I mean, I just want to thank you, George, again for your time. All the best training in the off season. We're looking forward to seeing you on the field again, and go Niners.
Go Niners. All-Pro
George,
G.O.
thank you, man. Stay healthy, buddy. Thank you. Keep claiming that crown.
Yes, sir.